Okay, next up, taking a peek at the steering wheel. So very straightforward. Let's start off on our left-hand side. So we've got the ability to move up and down between different settings there. So as you can see there, we've got our trip counter. So in order to reset our trip, all we're going to do is press and hold the OK button for a few seconds there. Then as you can see, the trip values have all been reset to nothing. And as we start to move down, so along the side, we've got our back button on the left-hand side, our menu button on the right-hand side. And that's going to give us menu options for a few different things. So each individual screen is going to have a different menu that we can configure. So we can press that menu button and we can look at either a digital speedometer, fuel economy, eco coach, or a calming screen. So the calming screen essentially gets rid of all the noise. So if you're not a fan of having too much stuff on the screen, you can get rid of that. As we move down, we've got our driver assistance settings. So the driver assistance settings tied into the lane keeping system along the side there. So as we can see there, so we've got our lane keeping system off right now, and we've got the lane keeping system turned on. So the lane keeping system turned on, as you can see, we've got a couple lanes along the side there. So the system we can have on, but it's not actually going to activate until we hit about 62 kilometers an hour. We're going to know it's on because this is going to go green, letting us know that that's now turned on. As we press the button, we've got a few different options now. So our blind spot system, that's the one that's going to highlight orange along our side view mirrors if anybody's entered the blind spot on either side. So it's going to pop up there as we move back over. So a couple other things, we've got our pre-collision assist. So pre-collision assist, what's going to happen is if the vehicle senses a potential oncoming collision, it's automatically going to actively brake for you if this setting is turned on. So really nice from a safety perspective. Lane keeping system works 3 different ways. So our modes, we've got an alert. So if we start to veer over into a lane without signaling, we'll get a little bit of a steering wheel shake, almost as if we're running over rumble pavement. Our aid is actually going to recenter us and pull us back into our lane, and then our alert and our aid will do both. So it'll give us a steering wheel shake, and it'll recenter us and pull us back into our lane. And press back, and then the intensity is the intensity of the steering wheel shake. Our driver alert is tied into the lane keeping system. So if we get too many warnings because we're veering over too many times without signaling, vehicle is going to pop up and let us know that we should probably take a break. Cross traffic alert, if the vehicle senses a vehicle that's coming perpendicular to us, so from the left or the right hand side, we'll get a message on screen letting us know of a potential collision. And the rear parking aid is that beeping that we get as we start to back up. As we move back, we've got our audio settings, so we can choose between our AM, FM, Sirius, XM, etc. If our phone was connected, it would show up there. And then we've got some more basic vehicle settings. So some basic information, auto start stop system, whether that system's turned on or off. Our driver alert system, how far are we into the driver alert. We've got our My Key, tire pressure. So the My Key is actually an interesting one. So where the My Key really comes into play is if you're lending the vehicle out, using it for work purposes, etc., and you don't want drivers to speed excessively, you can have a key fob with certain limitations. So it can't go past a certain speed, the audio can't go past a certain level, or it won't turn on until the seatbelt's turned on, or until the seatbelt's connected, etc. So there are a lot of options that you can do inside of that My Key feature. Tire pressure shows your active tire pressure inside of the vehicle, oil life, reset, etc. And that's going to be the basics of that instrument cluster screen. So let's take a peek at the steering wheel again. So as we start to move down a tiny little bit more, so we've got our cruise control system. So we can turn the cruise control system on or off. We can set the speed by pressing either up or down there. And then we can either increase or decrease 1 kilometer or 1 mile per hour at a time. Then we can either cancel or we can completely turn the system off from there. Now, there is the ability as well for adaptive cruise control inside of this thing. Now, as you can see, this specific one is not set up for the adaptive cruise control. Along our right-hand side, we've got the ability to either increase or decrease the volume on the steering wheel. We've got the ability to either move between songs, or we can answer a phone call or hang up on a phone call. This button in the middle is going to be for our voice command. So we can change radio stations, we can make phone calls, or if we had built-in navigation, we could navigate using this middle button. Now, a couple other things to point out as we start to move along the side. So, if your vehicle is equipped with rain-sensing wipers, this is going to determine how sensitive it is to the rain that's hitting the windshield. If the vehicle's not equipped with rain-sensing wipers, that's going to determine how fast or how slow the windshield wiper goes. From there, on the left-hand side, we've got the ability to flash our high beams, so up and away, and then on the very end of it, as you can see, we've got a little button on the side, and that's going to be our lane keeping system. So we know the lane keeping system is on or off because this little guy is going to show up or it's going to disappear. And that's the basics of this system.